It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
My name is Loaz Mpanza. I'm a feminist, I'm an activist, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. And I'm also doing research work.
I'm Michelle Mabuza. I am a second-year student at Boston.
My name is Gokedzo and I'm 18 and I'm a student at El Shaddai High School.
I'm Leanda Masrini. I'm a learner in Elton Girls High.
I'm Esther Mlauti and I'm a student at University of Johannesburg.
My name is Nasifo Mokhani and I matriculated in 2020 at Maryville College.
I'm Ipileng Mokhani and I'm a student at Athlone Girls High. When the president declared the national lockdown, I was really excited because for me it was no school, just being at home, until really it started affecting me.
I thought that it's just something of a very short period of time and it won't be that long. And then I started noticing that it's very serious. And then I also felt like, you know what, this year is my grade 11 year. And most people say that grade 11 is like very hard. So I became very scared. I was like, okay, you know what, I have to pull myself together, get my textbooks and then study from home.
To be quite honest, I really didn't take it serious. I didn't because I thought it also was going to go anytime soon. And regarding to my schoolwork, I thought it really affected me a lot because I couldn't really concentrate at home, and the online classes were not really helping. Specifically for me, they weren't helping. And I was more worried about if I go back to school, I live with my grandparents, and what if I get infected and I infect them too?
We all thought it was going to be for 21 days, but it ended up being for months. So it affected a lot of things, including our social lives and our academic lives, in the sense that online learning isn't really helping because we don't really study for knowledge to know our work. We study for the next test that's coming or the next exam, which isn't helping really because in the long run, you don't have any knowledge. You're just cramming your work and just to pass.
At times, I felt demotivated to do my work because I guess I was in the comfort of my own home. It wasn't like being in the classroom and actually being physically there and being as focused. I didn't get a full experience of my matric year because it was literally the beginning of the year and prelims and finals, and that was it.
I mean, like the lockdown, when it was announced, we just had to adapt to that, a different life than the varsity life, you know. So it wasn't really easy for all of us.
It was really just an emotional roller coaster because sometimes you'd be happy that you're not going to school. Sometimes you'd be really depressed that you at home, you can't do anything. And thinking about the workload when you get to school, it was just really heavy.
In the beginning, my mom didn't really have a stable job. So that's when things were a bit difficult getting data to attend my online classes and everything. But when my mom started having a more stable job as time went, it became easier to attend my classes and be there.
By that time, my mom was on hold regarding to work, and she was about to be retrenched. So it was really tricky. And at the same time, my dad wasn't working at that time. And I had to find out that we had online classes and work was passed on in the group chat. So it was a very difficult time regarding data.
The first few months we had to provide data for ourselves because we're not sure about how it was going to go about. But as soon as they realized that we're going to continue online learning for the rest of the year, they started providing data for us.
Personally, I didn't have any problems regarding data or any kind of resources. So I had everything that I needed regarding data, a well-working phone, and I could access the group chats and the work that was given to us.
I had my data, I had my phone, I had my laptop, I had everything, and I could access everything on my phone. But when it comes to my cousin, she didn't have anything at all. That's what made me feel bad, so bad that I'm continuing with my education at home, and my cousin is coming from very far. She doesn't have books, she doesn't have her textbooks, and she couldn't access any of her textbooks because I knew what kind of textbooks I was going to use because I had a list of the textbooks, but she didn't have them. So that's how I felt. I just felt bad for her.
Living in the township, load shedding became a problem because you have to charge the electronics. You have to make sure that everything is prepared for the next lesson. But you can't do that when there's no electricity. You can't make sure that your phone or laptop is charged. But with the resources, I had everything that I needed to continue with my schoolwork.
We had a school website. They created a school website. Really, it was like an app or something. So communication wasn't that bad. Either than the lectures, when we sent the lectures messages, they would reply like a day later or 2 days later. That was kind of tricky because what if you wanted to know something at that very moment? They would reply days later.
I had some problems with my project and I had to reach out like one-on-one to the teachers, and one of my teachers didn't really respond. Um, there was no communication at all, but with all the other teachers, work was sent on time. We had corrections, we had teachers explain to us what to do.
Our communication was very good because we had a group chat for each subject, so we're able to communicate through group chat and also through online classes when we attended Zoom. We could ask our teachers anything on the group chat and they would answer. We could also communicate through voice notes, and they would also send us like links to um, uh, maybe like topics that we're doing at that time.
And when schools had to open, I was really happy and scared at the same time because I was scared for my health because I'm asthmatic, and thinking that I could contract the virus, I didn't know what it would do to me.
Social distancing, it happened for about 2 weeks in school. And after 2 weeks, okay, the educators and the principal, they handed in masks, sanitizers, and all of that. But after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, things went back to normal. Learners are not listening. Learners were not following instructions. Learners were not coming with masks. They had to be offered in the offices. And things started to be tricky there because you're also scared to go back to school because they are learners who don't think about other people. They think about themselves only.
Social distancing was practiced quite well because our desks were apart and they were measured according to the distance that was supposed to be maintained. Although during breaks, it wasn't really as effective because also as students, you'd forget that, oh, we're supposed to be apart and not so close together because we're so used to being with like around each other all the time and being close, sharing lunch and etc. So it was hard to adapt to that change. But I'd say for me, most of the time, I really wasn't at school because I think I went to school for a month and then I started prelims and I did my finals. So during that time, during prelims and finals, I'd get to school, write, and go home. So towards the end of the year, I wasn't really at school most of the time. I was at school when I came to write and I left.
We had to choose to either go back to school or continue with online learning. And about 70% of the school's population chose to stay at home and continue with online learning, while the others went back to school because they didn't really have the necessary resources. So I believe that the ones that chose to go back to school, they weren't a lot, so they did practice social distancing, as it was easy to manage because there weren't a lot of learners. And the ones that were at home continuing with online learning, we only went to school when we had urgent matters to face.
When schools opened, I didn't really go back immediately because, as I said, I was scared for my health at that time. Didn't really think there would be social distancing because really, as students, we were not really used to that. We were used to borrowing stationery now that we can't. We were used to holding each other now that we can't. And when I got back to school, there were hand sanitizers. In the classes, there wasn't really social distancing. Personally, in the class that I was in, I'm sure there was about 30 to 40 something kids in one class.
I was very naive. I didn't really take it seriously. I was like, okay, there's nothing like corona, like most people did. I was like very naive until it infected me, and I got really sick, and I started noticing that this thing is real. And just like they say, Buti, that people, and it was like I needed to see it happening in my family or to me for me to actually believe that it's actually there. So I started taking it seriously. I started wearing my mask consistently. I sanitized mostly and drank whatever I had to drink. And then when I had to go back to school, there were those naive students as well, where they were like, come on, there's nothing like corona, and they would come and come and touch me and so on and so forth. And I would be like, okay, you know what, I need to try as much as I can to like firm and tell these people that, you know what, COVID is actually real, and I've been there, and my family members have been affected by it and have also passed because of it.
My dream is that each and every South African student should have resources that they need to continue their education if the virus still continues for as long as it can.
My dream is for the vaccine to reach as many people as possible so that we can get back to our normal lives.
My dream is things to go back to normal, and people and learners and kids and students that come from a very bad background must be provided with sanitizers, food, and everything that they need.
So my dream is that the president finds a way to provide access to food to everyone that is disadvantaged, and proper sanitation and everything, and for this virus to end so we can all go back to our normal lives.
My dream is that other people that are less fortunate are to be equipped with things that they need, like the screening machines, the sanitizers, the masks.
My dream is for all the kids also that are less fortunate to also get a chance to experience what the fortunate kids are experiencing. And my dream is they should also have better schools, better sanitation, better toilets, also to have the facilities to access their schoolwork if ever this virus continues.
Yeah, Z, you should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong. You should ever sit and talk with people, or else take a walk and create a straight talk. Talk what is nice, it will make you feel stronger. Listen what is right and say what is wrong.